Alright, let's get started. Last time we were working on the saving system, and we're going to pretty much just keep working on that today. There we go. Alright, so need to fix this function here. Would probably help if we went to the scene so we can see what we're doing. So here we've got the layer manager, and we need to go ahead and remove those layers. So we would say something like for child in with children if child.name is not layer writer container. And I'm sure there's a whole host of better ways to do this, but this will work. Go ahead and remove that. And then let's go ahead and also remove the current layer from under the layer writer. So to do that, we can just access it directly. say remove child. Or there's no way to do it in the way that I want to, but that's alright. The code doesn't have pretty colors. What do you mean? It has syntax highlighting. Or do you just mean it's not the same as actually doing stuff and looking at it? This is something we also need to fix, is the colors that we select over here don't match what we draw anymore. Let's go back to the layer manager. We need to add in the new layers. So I'm assuming this is all good. And that's going to be a layer resource, which right now is just going to have an image. So for that, we want to do a texture 2D and create that from an image. Actually, I think it's image texture. Dot create from image, and then we put our layer dot data in there. And then let's see, we need to add a layer. And then we need to I believe set the image data in that. When we go ahead and add a layer, it is going to be a canvas group with a sprite 2D child. In the future, we might want to make this like a scene or something. What we're gonna do here for now is get child 0. And we know that is going to be our sprite 2D, and then we're going to set that image. So that's going to be sprite 2D. And then we set the texture there to our image texture that we just made. All right. So that should help restore our layers when we go and actually load in a saved file, if I'm not mistaken. We also need to make it so that when we do this, it also sets the current layer so that we have it under the layer writer correctly. And for that, we might need to add something in here, but we'll just assume that it works for now, and we will set that I believe that is something that we save in here somewhere. Let's look at our sprite scene. And in here somewhere we should have oh yeah, that's right. It's in the sprite resource. That's the current layer index. And it's a storeable resource, so we do that, and then I think I'm gonna want that after that. We can just move that down here. That might kind of work. Probably gonna have errors, but we'll see. So if we go here and we draw on the first layer, and we go and draw on the second layer, something else to add would be making layers visible or invisible. That would be a nice thing to be able to do even now just for testing. But if we go ahead and save that as test layers dot txgd. Then we go here to our second sprite and we try loading it. Okay. I would rather have errors than nothing. Right now we have nothing. Which is not good. But maybe we didn't actually connect the signals up correctly. Let's go ahead and make sure we did that. We have layers changed, and we connect that to on layers changed. Just put something there so that we know it's working. Actually getting called at least. To load. So that's not getting called. So I guess that means we're not correctly connecting our signals here. So how can we go ahead and fix that? We could, but if this isn't even printing, unless it's printing nothing, just try printing hello and see if it does that. Okay, so we are not printing that, not even getting to this at all. We can try changing this to the other way of doing it. Shouldn't make a difference, but it could. It does not. Okay. So, what we need to do is trace this signal, try to figure out if it's even getting emitted, I guess. We've got layers changed signal on the sprite, which is here, sprite resource. Let's try printing something here. Okay, so that's good. We're at least getting to this point. I'm guessing it's this equality check here, maybe? That's failing. So let's try this inside the if statement. Yeah, so that doesn't go off. I can't think of any good reason to really do this anyway, and I'm not sure why it would say that they're equal. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then I expect it to actually print from the other place now. Okay, we do, and we get some errors. Errors is fine. That means we're getting somewhere. I would like to also just kind of leave this here as a reminder to myself that we tried that and it didn't work. Alright, now if we go back to the layer manager, when we switch to a layer, we don't have any actual children for the layer writer yet, so there's no actual active layer. At least that's my understanding. Although we're actually getting an error even on this line, which is interesting. As far as I'm aware, that shouldn't happen. It should only be here. Unless, of course, that's going off first. Hmm. We could try maybe immediately here. We could set that directly, so let's do that. The way we would do that is by use add layer, okay. We could get child and then move it to the layer writer. So I think you would do that with, like, I think you would get the child first. It would be get child 0, and we would say new current layer. And then we do this, which is we remove the existing child, so we do remove child, new current layer. Then we add it to here. A little bit jank, but it may well work. Cannot call method add child on a null value. So when we remove a child here, we're actually removing our layer writer, okay? My understanding. It's quite possible that we've actually not added any layers at all. Which would be problematic. Well, it's not empty. We've got our resource. We print layer 2, we print our resource. Hello, okay. But what if we print this? Yeah, so we have an empty list. That's not great. We need to figure out why this is giving us an empty list. Until we do that, we're not gonna have a good time here. Nothing else is going to work. so we have an array of layers. Yes. Yes, I've considered filling out that list. Um, it should be loading that list from the file that we saved. And I believe it is not correctly doing that right now. What the problem is exactly, I'm not sure. But I have a feeling we're going to have to put a wrapper around array itself. What file? So when we go to here and we, doodle something on a couple different layers, and we go and we save the project, we save it to one of these project files, then we try to load that back in. Alright, so when we load that file back in, we're not getting our layer data. So to me, that means either we're not saving that data correctly or we're not loading it correctly. The question is, what exactly is happening there? I'm thinking it might be that... Hey, Seagreen, thanks for the raid. What you been up to? I'm just here doing a little bit of coding. Og indeed. You like the raid message, Rexes? Raid alert, I should say. Yeah, I stole them from you. Why never comes over to your streams anymore? So what we're doing is trying to figure out how to properly load our layers in right now. Because when we do, we just get an empty list at the moment. And that's not good. Hey, he has free will. If he wants to come back, he can go back. So it's fine by me. True. That Discord profile picture. Alright, so when we load a resource or save it, we see, I would think we would get this warning when we save or load. But maybe not. Is list not an object? That would be a good question to answer. Is array, I mean, not an object? It seems like it's not, but that doesn't mean that it's going to do what we want still. Because it's not going to call the correct functions on its children either. So I think what we can do is in here, instead of operating like this, we can wrap that functionality and have let's see, something like see, it is a storable resource. Okay. We would have to either dynamically add them, or maybe we could just override this. I think that would be maybe the easiest thing to do. So we would do this, and then something like that, which we then follow up with our own loading mechanism, which is like this. Or first we have to add a number of layers variable, something like that, layer count, we'll call it. Rexus working and getting sleep, that's impressive. So we load that. And then for I in player count. We do basically this. So let's do that. And then oh, but that is for storing, not loading. For loading. Wait, this is loading. What? Oh, okay. I see now. So instead of that, well, the question is, what is prop val? How do we get prop val? And I believe that is just a matter of loading it in here. Let's see, where do we do that? Huh. Well, this is kind of wrong. I wonder if this is the actual problem we've been having. But it should be fd.getVar, I believe. Yeah, okay. So we never actually set that correctly, it seems. Oh. No, that's fine. It's weird, but it's fine. Yeah, I think for us, what we need to do is similar but not the same. What? Why doesn't it like this? It makes no sense. What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay. Prop val, not a thing. Fine. Okay. So what we're doing is first we okay. This can't be generic like this. I get it. I get it now. This has to be a layer object. And then we don't need to do these checks because we know what we have here. And then instead of this, we do layers dot append val. Okay. Makes sense to me. Probably not to anybody else. But it makes sense to me. And then we do basically the same thing in reverse for storing. Just fd.storevar. We go back to here. Do that as well. We call method in the parent class, and then we do our own shenanigans, which in this case is for layer in layers. Fd dot store var, or no, not fd dot store var. It's layer dot store to file. Fd. Yes. Okay. So this might work. Let's put some stuff down here. Save the project. And then go over here, load the project. Okay. Still facing issues. Uh... Hmm. Oh, this is going to be an issue with layer count, so we do that. We probably need to resave that. So let's try that again. We do save. We do load. Okay. Not working. But in what way is it not working? Still getting the empty list. Still getting the empty list. Why would it do that? Um, we could try this. Actually, we could just do that. Do it here as well. And let's see. We draw on the first layer. We draw on the second layer. Save. Okay, so it's empty even when we save. That's good to know. That's not great. Why is it like that? Oh, I bet it's because these are like pre-existing layers and they don't get added to the sprite resource or something. So what if we tried, instead we just make some new layers? And then we draw on those. And then we save it. Still doesn't notice that layers even exist. So I'm guessing that that is something to do with not updating the resource correctly. What do we do when we add a layer? Well, I can tell you what we don't do. We don't actually save that image at any point, right? Like, it's all fine if we can load in our images, but if we never store them, even in the resource, then it doesn't make much sense that we would be able to load it again. So if we go to our owner, sprite, layers, and we say let's make one called add layer here. And it will just, or we can just call it append. And then it just appends it. To the list. Okay. So now we append this isn't quite right, but it kind of works, sorta. Let's try it. So if we go to our new layer and we get its texture, and actually what we can do is I'm gonna set it up correctly, but it's kind of weird. So we need to use signals for it. We need to do texture changed and connect that to something like update layer resource. Yeah, I'm not sure why that would be like that exactly. But let's do it. Oh, okay. All right. Hmm. The problem is there's not going to be any way to know which texture was actually changed here. Which means really we need to like add a script to the actual layer, which is annoying, but could be something we could do. How would you do that? Because pretty much what we're trying to do is whenever the texture changes, also update the correct layer resource in the list. But we don't know which texture we're using. Because we can't get at this node. There's a couple different ways to do it. Really dumb kind of way would be to... It's not a bad way, actually. Would be to... make a new signal after we inherit from Sprite 2D. Let's see about canvas group, what it has. So I don't think you can actually get that texture. That's more what viewports are for. Yeah. So we need to go in here, classes, create a new script, call it layer sprite. (2D). Terrible name, but I can't think of a better one, so that's what it's going to be called. It's going to be a class, so we do class name. It's going to be layer sprite 2D. It's going to extend. It's going to extend sprite 2D. It's going to have a signal. Call it image changed. And then we also want to have our little function here, which is going to be on texture changed. This is maybe not ideal. Converting it to an image here. But I'm trying not to just call it texture changed again because that's already a signal name. We want to emit image changed with our texture. But we really need to call it something better. Call it layer texture changed, since it's a layer sprite 2D. Alright, now we come back here, replace it with a layer sprite 2D. And then what we're going to do is connect layer texture changed. Yeah, that should be fine. To here, and then that's going to have something like a texture in here. Let me say image dot new or rather image dot I forget how to do this. But we'll call this X, and then curious. Okay. We also need so this needs to be connected to here. But we also need to know which layer it's coming from. In order to know which layer it's coming from, we need to do something special. It might be easier if we were able to give it a reference to that layer first, and then we would have access to it. Not exactly sure on that. This needs to be a new layer. I think we can just use a reference like this. But if not, we're about to find out. So for this, we would do that, where we emit the... No, we don't have to do that at all, do we? We have to change it in the layer resource directly. So we want to set that data to the texture it might just be get image. So let's see. That would be texture dot get image. All right. That seems right to me. Still not saving correctly. Um, let's see if that helps at all. Not sure that it will. doesn't really help. Not yet, anyway. I'm going to take a quick break here, and I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. So what we need to do is figure out where the disconnect here is when we store the image. Let's see if this is actually happening. Okay. But if we make a new layer, that should be getting updated, but it's not. Why is that? Let's see. That seems right. So we make that image texture. And then we set it. But it's not when the image changes necessarily. It's just getting set. I'm thinking that is the issue here. But we should really see that. To me, that seems like something that should be changed correctly. Right, this is a special signal that is emitted when the texture changes. So it should be emitted when, like, you set the texture resource. That's my understanding. But maybe not. I don't know. Let's see if we can override that. Be called by the engine and may not work as expected. Fair enough. But why isn't it getting called? I don't know, let's do this. Oh, okay. Because it's a sprite 2D. Let's just go ahead and change this real quick. Because that keeps tripping me up. And then let's also add a thing here to make sure that we realize what we're doing. Or what did I put before? Okay, that's fine. Invalid assignment of property or key data with value of type image on a base object of type nil. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. I'm tracking it. I see it. It's because we need to add new layers, and then those will actually be connected correctly. So if we do this, we're gonna get errors apparently, because the signal is already connected, question mark. but we will not worry about that too much. Invalid assignment. Now, hold on. How's that? How's that an invalid assignment? If I do it on this layer, that shouldn't happen. We need to go back to the layer manager. Okay. We add the child. Right. Cool. Then we set the layer resource. And we add that layer resource to the sprite. Okay. Cool. Then why is that null? Okay. It must have something to do with this when we switch layers. And it's like, oh, the texture changed signal is already connected. It's because we're like adding it and removing it from the tree. That should be fine, though. It should just, you know, maybe it errors out, but it shouldn't, like, you know, do anything of note, really. But it only connects texture changed when it enters the tree. So like maybe if we do like this? Question mark? We just maybe move this up here. Like I don't see how that should do anything different, but it could. Data is nil. Why? Why is it nil? Okay. We need to add a new layer first. Go to that layer. Now I can really 100% say, why is it nil? I don't know. Let's just say that it's equal to a new layer. This is fine. It's not fine, but it could be. I don't know. And then instead of doing this, let's just do that directly, and then hope that it's okay. No. It's okay. All right. Sure. In fact, it even seems mostly okay on these other things. Other layers. So... yeah, that should work. Okay. So I make some layers. I draw in the layer. I save. Cool, that's good. We like to see that. Then I go over here and I load. Okay, that's fine. We didn't properly load it in. Data was an object but did not have a store to file method. Okay, so that's going to be coming from here. So image is an object. Okay. So this is another instance where we have to make a custom way of doing this. So first we want to do super dot sort to file AFD. And then we do dot store var and we store the data. Interesting. I'm assuming that's probably what we want because it has format details. And I think without format details, so like if we just did the get data function, I'm assuming it would not be able to fully load that in. Could also save instead of doing the raw bytes, it might be better to just save it as a PNG to a buffer. And store that. And then when we load a file, we do much the same thing, but we get our and then we do dot load PNG from buffer. All right, so we draw in, go to the next layer, draw it in, save the project, load, over here, load the project, What happened there? Not sure why it would work like that, but then not load correctly. Well, that's fascinating. Well, Godot didn't like that very much. I'm thinking that might just go ahead and end it here. And I'll try to see what I can do to recover this and fix it up and whatnot. Oh, it did load. Let's see what it has to say for itself. What? Compressed size. They're equal to PNG size. It is true. Can't convert image to PNG. I'm assuming that's because it has some like empty images, right? Like this says, image is empty. But I wouldn't know why. Couldn't tell you. Yeah, like I said, that's gonna be it for today. Hopefully by next stream I can have this fixed, but if not, you'll be seeing more of this until I do fix it. Alright, bye.